A lot of people think about Africa, they think safari. They think, oh, we have to donate $10 to people suffering. But you don't think about the rising population, the youthful population, the demographic, urbanization, cities becoming bigger. I want sports to grow. I want sports to be bigger because we have talent.
Basketball has exploded as a global game, and arguably its most fascinating frontier is Africa. For decades, the continent has produced show-stopping talent, from Hakeem Olajuwon
has David Robinson
to Joel Embiid.
Here's Embiid. He buries another triple.
I saw Joel Embiid sitting down in a basketball camp in Africa, and that same kid will be the MVP of the league and will score 70 points in a game. It can't be seen as a gimmick anymore. It can't be seen as superficial anymore. It's real. Right. Yes, Wembayama's dad is from the Congo. Giannis Antetokounmpo, whether you call it Greece or you call it Nigeria, he's global. And now it's arrived. For me, we have to develop it even more.
Masai Ujiri has been one of the NBA's biggest players in developing the game in Africa. He spent nearly 2 decades already creating camps and clinics and literally building courts to foster talent across the continent. Now he's laying a path to leverage basketball as a dynamic economic force that can empower all of Africa.
Now you're building a business. Now you're building an ecosystem that has to sustain.
Toronto is about as polar opposite a place you can get to begin telling the story of Africa's growing basketball business. But we're here to see Masai Ujiri, the president of the Toronto Raptors. At first glance, he may appear like any NBA executive, but it doesn't take long to find out he's a global power broker.
This is my office.
A couple of world leaders mixed in here.
Yes, friends along the way. The Trudeaus, the Obamas, the Kagames. We were having a little meeting in Lithuania. We were trying to figure out the Kawhi trade, I think, here.
Wow. That's a moment.
I have one picture, and I remember telling him that I have the trade done for Kawhi, and he's like, you ain't got
That's amazing.
Masai began his NBA career as a scout for the Orlando Magic in the early 2000s. He moved to the Denver Nuggets, eventually becoming that team's executive vice president of basketball operations.
Masai, for me, I couldn't be more thrilled that you're here. Welcome, and it's all yours.
And in 2013, Masai was named president of the Raptors.
We're at the Raptors practice facility. This is where we call home. It's where the players come daily. Our front office, coaching staff, medical staff, all based here. We all try to innovate as much as we can, and there's always somebody that beats you the next year. But we looked all over the world at practice facilities, football, soccer, college basketball, and the flow matters. The feeling of the players really matter.
Training complexes are part of the unseen infrastructure of basketball, whether it's a video wall that displays shot analytics to players in real time or the very specific chairs in the locker room. Everything here is aimed to give players the belief that they can win. And in 2019, for the Raptors and Masai, they did just that.
And that's it. There's a new NBA champion, and it's a team from Toronto, Canada.
We wanted to win in Toronto, and we have won in Toronto! Yeah! Here we go. Here's the big guy right here.
There it is.
I never talk about him or do it because I want another one. I don't come around this. I'm doing it for you. Never won a ring, never won a t-shirt, never seen the videos, never won a hat. Yeah, I will not do it till I get the second one.
Masai might not have worn a t-shirt, but after winning, he did join several of his players in wearing their native country flags.
If I go back to a moment with Pascal, I wore the Nigerian flag, he wore the Cameroonian flag, and I think of what it's meant, to African youth, to see this happen in real life, really, really happen to people that grew up on the continent. Our dreams were the NBA. We fulfilled it and even reached the highest level, like together.
This moment was also a big deal for the NBA. In 2001, the NBA, along with FIBA, launched Basketball Without Borders, with a strong focus on Africa. Since then, the league has helped fund even more programs, including Giants of Africa, founded and run by Masai. All of them help promote the game through various camps and development programs, aiming to find young, talented players and give them a pathway to one-day play for both the NBA or the WNBA. And while these programs have succeeded multiple times over bringing players into the league, Masai is turning his attention to help create that same proof of success for the business of sports on the continent. You've been working for more than 2 decades now on Giants of Africa and all of these projects. Do you feel that the rest of the NBA is buying in, and not just from the league perspective, but other owners, other executives? Are they committed to this global growth, do you think, to the extent that they need to be?
I think they are. And I think we need to educate more too. There's so much going on, like on the continent. 1 out of every 4 people, I think, by 2050 around the world will be from Africa.
Right.
When you think about entertainment, when you think about music, sports, this whole ecosystem, we need infrastructure on the continent.
So just like the Raptors facility is all about helping players believe they can win, Masai believes African countries need to see successful infrastructure to believe in the business of basketball.
All people need to do is see something happen. So the main step now for us is to build this infrastructure around the continent. It's great to see this.
Right.
Great to see the energy, great to see the kids, they have fun, they compete, they feel good about it.
Because this is kind of basketball at its essence, right?
It's grassroots, it's the start. I know these people have incredible journeys ahead of them.
Right.
You know that. I think of this space and this experience, they'll always remember this.
To celebrate its 20th anniversary, Giants of Africa convened a massive festival in Kigali, Rwanda. A week that comprised lots of basketball, a court unveiling, a big community service day, and a sold-out concert featuring some of Africa's biggest musical acts.
Please welcome from the Toronto Raptors, Precious Achiuwa.
It's a real full circle moment, just being able to be up here speaking. And a couple years ago, I was a camper. This is amazing.
For the young players, it was a combination of seeing high-quality hoops played in top-notch facilities and seeing actual pros whose own careers started nearby. That puts their potential futures in a whole new light. And for Masai, it's a way to attract new investment to Africa.
Yeah, all in action here.
Nice to see you. Things are good?
You should be playing, man. I see you all in it, all coaching. I don't know if you can beat Nigeria, all the best, but yeah, good luck. He's a founder of Shopify.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's Guy Lake. He's built out of the 30 courts, well, about 28 maybe. He's built about 12 of them for us. A lot of people, want to do stuff here, but not many people see it. So, you really have to explain to them what you do. If you don't come and see it, no matter how much you read, you don't feel it like you being here.
Right.
Now you can talk about it a different way.
Rwanda was chosen to host the festival for a very specific reason. It has gone to great lengths to position itself as a new commercial and cultural gateway to Africa. Masai has worked with the public and private sectors there to showcase basketball as a critical and effective tool for economic development. Rwanda has not only been one of Africa's fastest growing economies, but the IMF projects that in 2024 it will have the 7th highest GDP growth in the world. To better understand how all this connects to basketball, I met up with my colleague Jennifer Zabazaja, who covers the continent for Bloomberg, documenting the biggest stories in business and finance.
Is this your first African market experience,
My
Jason?
first African market experience.
God, are you ready?
I think so.
You can come here and basically find everything, as we're kind of seeing. I like mangoes. What do you like?
I like oranges.
Thank you.
What's your sense of why Giants of Africa ended up in Rwanda for this festival?
So I think there's a few different reasons. Most people would say, though, that Rwanda has, more than any other country on the continent, really tried to make itself the hub of sports. We've seen that with President Kagame and really sort of encouraging sports.
President Paul Kagame has dominated Rwandan politics since his rebel army liberated the country following the 1994 genocide. And over that time, the economy has grown more than 5 times over. However, critics say that success has come at a cost. Kagame has effectively outlawed political opposition. And a 2022 U.S. State Department report cited credible reports against the government of killings, kidnappings, and violence. Despite these allegations, Kagame has in recent years pushed forward policies that have opened Rwanda to the rest of the world, focusing mostly on growing tourism and foreign investment.
It's a country of 13 million people. And so what's been interesting about Rwanda is it's really sort of been a test case in some way of the role that the private sector can come in and bring investment into a country as small as it is and drive development. And we're seeing that. I mean, we're driving around and we're seeing it.
Sports has been a major part of that plan. The country's Visit Rwanda campaign has sponsorship deals with both Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain, each worth roughly $10 million annually. And Paris Saint-Germain has set up a football academy in the heart of Kigali, offering coaching and access to modern facilities to the youth of Rwanda.
The aim of this training center is to identify potential talents and make them progress and compete with other teams.
It sort of plays into a lot of this narrative that we're seeing a lot of people trying to change about Africa, not just being a place for exports, right?
Yeah.
Exports of like talent, right? When we're thinking about athletes, exports of raw materials, right? Considering how rich this continent is, and make this be the place where players, where people want to stay,
right,
and help it thrive.
Creating true businesses that can operate within Africa is what Masai is most interested in.
BK Arena.
And BK Arena, a sports facility opened in 2019, was the main venue for the Giants of Africa Festival, and it may be one of the best examples.
This arena hosts all kinds of events, whether it's the Basketball Africa League, whether it's local leagues, whether it's conferences. There's so many things going on, and we have to get better, with this. And government people have to see that these are money makers, these are job creators. This is the ecosystem of sports and how we can grow. This thing should be working 365 days a year. And that's the economic driver. That's creating jobs, but that's bringing people together. That's bringing peace. There's so many things that sports brings, and we don't even understand it.
During his time in Rwanda, Masai joined President Kagame to break ground on his new venture, Zaria Court.
We have to stop seeing sports as recreation on the continent. We have to see it as competition, and we have to see it as a business.
Zaria Court is set to be placed here, within sight of both BK Arena and the newly renovated Amahoro National Stadium. Zaria Court will feature a boutique hotel, restaurants, and retail spaces, aimed to create an economic ecosystem around Kigali Sports Complex.
It's a place for them to go drink beer. It's a place to go eat. This is what people want. There's a hotel for them to stay close by. For me, when you think about the whole thing, you're trying to create business, you're trying to create lifestyle, you're trying to create atmosphere that's peaceful and conducive for people to grow. I'm part of that ecosystem on the other side in the West, right? When I look at Scotiabank Arena, I look at LA Live, and I look at the hotels, the restaurants, the shops, the sports bars, all those things around those places create, like an atmosphere where people can grow, and grow in a business sense.
Masai hopes that it's only the first Zaria court on the continent.
We've talked about it in Senegal, we've talked about it in Kenya, we've talked about it in Republic of Benin, in Nigeria. We're usually a copycat continent, right? When one person does it, the next person wants to do it. I'm hoping that other countries copy this ecosystem that we're seeing here. An arena, a stadium, and what's the surrounding.
You have a lot of influence across the NBA and across global basketball, but you're not sort of a bigwig in the NBA. What gave you the confidence that you could do this, that you could affect this change?
Maybe the best thing I ever discovered, that helped me in my career, was the confidence in the continent and the confidence in the talent in the continent. And if we grew the game, the spotlight will start to come to this continent. But we have to grow it. That's one of the courts we built. It's beautiful.
I mean,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so what do you think when you pass that?
When I went past the first time, I was like, wow. The meaning is, you don't even understand it, until something like this. It's just a Saturday, and there just are tons of kids playing, and maybe somewhere or somehow this court inspired that person a little bit. I'm gonna find a way to get to 100.
Masai is up to 29 of his stated goal of 100 courts. Growing the basketball infrastructure as well as the sports business infrastructure will continue to face economic and political challenges. But you couldn't find a more global thinker than Masai, something he's reminded of at every Toronto game. It's the only international home court for the NBA.
Well, my mom is from Kenya, my dad is from Nigeria. I was born in England, just lived there for only 9 months before we moved back to Africa. My wife is half Guinea, half Sierra Leone. My kids were born in Canada and have Canadian and American citizenship. So I don't know if everybody wants to see how many passports we have.
Spread them out on the table.
Yeah, spread them out on the table.
Right.
Well, we're the only team that is situated outside of America. I think we have to embrace that. That's what We the North was. That's what Raptors here everywhere around the globe is. For me, there's that unique representation. A lot of people need a voice, and a lot of people need representation. And I think about it that way. God has blessed me with this, to be from this continent, to have this opportunity that the NBA has given me, to know all these world leaders, all these people, to have incredible friends, whether it's in communities or anywhere. Somehow I have to bring people together. Yeah, that's why the festival is bringing people together.
You talked about world leaders, and that is so much on display. I would love to show you a clip that we have with one of those world leaders, because it speaks to the sort of socio-political, socio-cultural importance of this league.
It is a remarkable space. It's a community space, a library, a computer lab, a vocational center, a football pitch, and I'm very happy to see there's also a basketball court. So thank you, Masai. Thank you, Giants of Africa.
So that's kind of cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. He's so incredible friend to have. But actually being on a court with President Barack Obama in Kenya, he's half Kenyan, I'm half Kenyan. It just meant the whole world to me, but I saw what it meant to the youth, to the people. It's just meant so much, even for Giants of Africa, to have part of this.
And he loves basketball. He's a certified baller.
Oh, he's a certified baller. He's a certified GM. He's a certified everything.
I like this game.
There are a couple people I know that just affected the world in a crazy way for us Black people. Venus and Serena, what they did for young girls in the world and Black people around the world to believe in sports, to believe that they can do something, really incredible. I think Muhammad Ali did it first, and how he was. It was a different era. When it goes back to history, George Floyd changed a lot of things for people. And then Barack Obama, what he did, I think it really gave a lot of us confidence in what we can do.
At the height of his team's success on the court, Masai himself would become part of a larger conversation about race. When you talk about George Floyd and you talk about that time, it's an easy step to, an incident that happened to you that you then turned and have spoken very publicly about that was about more than you, and obviously the shove that happened in 2019. And how do you think about that now and how you have used it to try and have some benefit for other people?
In some ways, I'm a privileged person that was put in that position. If you look at it that way, I'm the president of the Toronto Raptors, but you think about how many people go through that don't have my position. Maybe you are not wearing a suit that day. They're judged wrongly, they're prosecuted wrongly. That bothers me because I knew I had not done anything wrong. For 1 year, I didn't have a good feeling. For 1 year, I started to doubt myself. Not myself as a person, myself with that incident. I started to think, okay, did I hit him first? And now I feel it. And I knew if I've not done something wrong, then I would have that fight, right? I'd have the ability to get lawyers and fight. How many people have that ability? Not many.
The Giants of Africa Festival ended with one banger of a concert, headlined by marquee Afrobeats artist Davido, who, no surprise, is a friend of Masai.
Thank you. We love you, Rwanda. We'll be back to Rwanda. Rwanda is home.
So having watched you in Kigali, you're the impresario, the mastermind of everything that's going on. It's easy to see your impact when you're there. How do you, from here, ensure that that is keeping going between your day-to-day here and Giants of Africa?
There's only one word: winning. It's the Pascal Siakams, it's the OG Anunobies, it's the Joel Embiids, when you see this actually go from basketball camp to NBA, all-NBA player, all-star NBA player, a 70-point NBA player, a championship NBA player, that's real. But I have to win here. That gives me the opportunity to grow the game globally, in Africa, in Nigeria, and all over the world.
Because winning creates opportunity? Is that the idea?
100%. Yeah, 100%. You win on the court, you win off the court. And as you do that, you bring people along.